The state of freshwater in North America and around the world has reached a critical stage. Pollution and climate change are affecting our lakes and rivers at alarming rates. Here in Manitoba, our major bodies of water are not immune to pollution, invasive species, and climate change. Manitoba is home to over 100,000 lakes, covering more than 15% of the province. And at the center of it all is Lake Winnipeg, Manitoba's biggest lake and the 11th largest freshwater lake in the world. It's one of our province's greatest assets, and it provides sustenance, recreation, and a home for thousands of people. The data doesn't lie. Our largest lake is in trouble, but we have an opportunity to change its course. And if we get it right, the whole world can benefit. That's why the International Institute for Sustainable Development, Economic Development Winnipeg, and our partners are launching the AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg 2020 Challenge.
AquaHacking is a startup competition and a business mentorship program designed to spark some tech solutions to pressing environmental problems facing our lakes. My colleagues and I at ISD are doing this because we love lakes. Like all Manitobans, we've grown up surrounded by them. They're such a huge part of our economy, and of course, they're a massive part of our social and family lives. I really think this is a fantastic opportunity for our community to come together and find some positive solutions to issues that have been plaguing our freshwater for decades now.
During the 9-month competition, young innovators will work to find creative solutions to the problems affecting Lake Winnipeg and its watershed. Teams will receive guidance from local expert mentors in water, tech, and business. Winners will be chosen during a Dragon's Den-style final in October 2020. $50,000 in cash prizes and incubator space is up for grabs.
So the success of AquaHacking over the last 5 years, very tangibly, are the 18 water tech startups that have been created through this challenge. Many of them are signing contracts with municipalities across the country to make a real impact on how municipalities are managing their water and, importantly, dealing and communicating with citizens about the quality of their water.
In Winnipeg, we innovate. That's what we do. That's what we've always done. Whether it's HVAC, aerospace, building video games, we do amazing things right here. I think sometimes people think there's a conflict between building big and successful businesses and protecting our planet. This is one of those moments where the two will come together, and we are going to have young people that are going to look at this problem of how to make our lakes healthier from a whole different perspective. This competition is going to be a great opportunity for our business community to support and leverage the ideas that these young people come up with. And the result of that will be economic success and success for our planet. I can't imagine anything better than that.
What's your solution to rebooting Lake Winnipeg? The AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg 2020 Challenge starts now. Be part of the change.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us at the AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg Challenge. I'm Pauline Gerard, the Deputy Director of the ISD Experimental Lakes area, and I'm going to be your host today. I'm joining you live from our headquarter office in Winnipeg with support from our partners at AquaForum and TKNL in Montreal and HackWorks in Toronto. Welcome to all the teams, our judges, sponsors, partners, friends, and members of the public. We are so glad to have you with us today for this very exciting event. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that many of us today, myself included, are joining this event virtually from Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is located on Treaty 1 territory, the ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji, Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and in the heart of the Métis homeland. I acknowledge that our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. Wherever you are joining us today, please take a moment to acknowledge the history of the territory in which you live and work. This semifinal marks a major milestone in the AquaHacking Challenge. For many weeks and months, teams of students and young professionals have been working hard to develop innovative tech-based solutions to critical issues facing Lake Winnipeg. Yesterday, the teams pitched their solutions to our panel of expert judges who did the hard work of evaluating each team's solutions. And today, we'll find out which 5 teams are moving to the finals. For members of the public or anyone new to AquaHacking, let me tell you a little bit more about it. AquaHacking is a startup competition that challenges students and young professionals from across Canada to team up and develop demand-driven tech solutions to critical issues affecting our fresh water. The competition takes place over about 9 months during which we recruit students and young professionals from engineering, business, computer science, biology, design, and other disciplines to form teams, work with mentors to develop solutions to water issues affecting specific watersheds, in our case, Lake Winnipeg, and compete for seed funding and incubator space to eventually launch their startups. The AquaHacking Challenge was created by the de Gaspé-Beaubien Foundation. In 2012, Nan B and Philippe de Gaspé-Beaubien challenged their grandchildren to find their voices as future philanthropists by asking them what issue was most of concern to them. The fourth generation of the de Gaspé-Beaubien family chose water as their greatest concern and wanted to bring technology, entrepreneurship, and passion, and the innovation of youth together to preserve fresh water here in Canada. This led to the birth of the AquaHacking Challenge in 2015. Since then, AquaHacking Challenges have been held annually in the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Basin. Past challenges have helped launch 17 new startups, all at various stages of development, working in the tech and water space. This year is a really exciting year for AquaHacking across Canada. Thanks to funding from RBC Foundation, AquaHacking Challenges are happening across the country. The Atlantic Canada Challenge is being hosted by the Atlantic Water Network in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The British Columbia Challenge is being hosted by the Okanagan Basin Water Board in Kelowna, BC. And the International Institute for Sustainable Development, who I work for in Winnipeg, is hosting this challenge for Lake Winnipeg. ISD is a nonprofit organization that does scientific research and policy work on global sustainability issues, such as climate change, food security, and fresh water. We have a vision of a balanced world where people and the planet thrive, and we're working to accelerate solutions to drive a global transition to fair economies, clean water, and a stable climate. We have staff and partners that we work with all around the world on these huge issues. ISD's water program in particular includes research conducted at the ISD Experimental Lakes Area, an exceptional natural laboratory comprised of 58 small lakes and their watersheds set aside for scientific research. At ISD Experimental Lakes Area, we've been studying the impacts of human activities on our freshwater lakes for over 50 years. And based on our research, we know that our lakes are facing some serious problems. As experts in freshwater science and policy, ISD is proud to be hosting this AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg Challenge, and we're really, really excited to see what it will bring. Our challenge for Lake Winnipeg started on January 31st at Tech Manitoba's Disrupted Future Tech Conference in Winnipeg, which kicked off phase 1, where participants registered, formed teams, worked with mentors on their solutions, and participated in virtual workshops and activities to help them along the way. The semifinal marks the end of phase 1. Today, we'll find out which 5 teams received the highest score on their pitches, and we'll be advancing to phase 2 of the competition. Phase 2, teams will receive $2,000 bursary, as well as business and technical support from mentors to refine their solutions and help turn the idea that they proposed at the semifinal into a workable prototype or a tangible solution with a clear business plan and that has potential to have clear impacts on the lake. The finalist teams will also participate in a virtual retreat or e-expedition, which will be held as a 3-day workshop on water innovation and leadership. And then on October 14th, the top 5 teams will show the results of their hard work at a Dragon-style stand final, where $50,000 in seed funding will be awarded. We worked with water experts to design 5 specific challenges affecting Lake Winnipeg for this AquaHacking Challenge and for the teams to work on. I'll just give you a quick overview of what those 5 challenges were. Water and land management was really based on how we can provide agricultural producers with cost-effective solutions for water and land management. Keystone Agriculture Producers helped design this challenge, and I really want to say a special thanks to Alana Gray, Patty Rocher, and Mitch Timmerman for helping mentoring teams who worked on this challenge. Drinking water is a big problem really across Canada. The next challenge was targeted towards pressing problems of drinking water access. How can we support remote northern centers with innovative solutions for testing drinking water locally? The challenge was designed in collaboration with a variety of stakeholders and organizations, including many people from the government of Manitoba and the Northwest Company. Thanks to everyone who offered their expertise and insight for this challenge. Water investment is kind of a different sort of a challenge for the AquaHacking competition. It revolved around how we can learn from financial technologies and use these technologies to connect financial support to individuals and groups making positive impacts on the lake. How can me, with my $20 that I want to give, see a direct impact and improvement in Lake Winnipeg? This challenge was designed by Jeff Gunn and Madeline Stanley of ISD's water program. Thanks so much to both of you for leading this challenge. Fish health is something that's very near and dear to our heart at the Experimental Lakes area. We study fish, and we want to do so in a way that doesn't actually hurt those fish, which surprisingly isn't always that easy. Dr. Vince Pallas led this challenge. He's the head research scientist for ISD Experimental Lakes area, and we're really excited to see what comes out of it. Finally, microplastics. We asked hackers to solve how can we prevent microplastics from ending up in Lake Winnipeg. The challenge was headed by Dr. Chelsea Roshman, assistant professor at the University of Toronto and founder of the U of T Trash Team, an outreach group dedicated to waste literacy, education, and reducing plastic pollution. Thanks so much, Chelsea, and your whole team for all the work that you do and for your support to this competition. So now we're getting down to the exciting part. Let's turn to the hackers themselves. We had 109 individuals participants register and 19 teams formed. 10 teams made it to the semifinal pitch yesterday. 75 participants were undergrads and college students, 10% were master's and PhD students, and 15% young professionals or others. Most participants are from the prairies, which makes sense because it's in the prairies that the Lake Winnipeg watershed flows through. But the remaining, we did have people from all across Canada. The evaluation criteria were based on how well the solutions address one of the 5 water issues, its technical feasibility, and its business potential. To help us evaluate team solutions, we brought 12 judges with expertise in the areas of water and environmental science, technology, and engineering and business. Our water environmental science judges were Chelsea Lobson from the Lake Winnipeg Foundation, Karen Scott from the Lake Winnipeg Research Consortium, Dr. Mark McMaster from Environment and Climate Change Canada, and Sharon Gurney from Gurney and Associates. Our tech and engineering judges were Gonzalo Lavin from Lavery Advocates, Gord Curry from Bold Commerce, Tariq Elizabeth from the Government of Manitoba, and Bill Locke from Ovivo. Our business judges were Brent Wedicus from MyTax, Glen Crook from RBC, Kevin Parsons from the Winnipeg Foundation, and Jan Forrester from the Government of Manitoba. Thanks so much to all of our judges. I hope you enjoyed the experience yesterday. It is amazing what all of the individuals who participated in this team have done, and it's really inspiring to see what they've come up with. So for the money, the top 5 teams will compete for $50,000 in seed funding, and all teams will also receive incubator space at a local incubator here in Manitoba or somewhere across the prairies, depending on where they're based. We're also partnering with MyTax, and thanks very much to them. AquaHacking finalist teams may be eligible to increase their prize money through the MyTax Accelerate Entrepreneurship Program. We have national sponsors who've really made this work across Canada and the national competition. I want to say a huge thank you to the De Gaspé-Beaubien Foundation, RBC Foundation, MyTax, Lavery Lawyers, Ovivo, and IBM. We have local sponsors here in Winnipeg that have been critical to helping these teams move things forward. The Winnipeg Foundation, Johnson Group, Canada Life, the Government of Manitoba, James Richardson and Sons Limited, Eco Canada, and the Northwest Company. And we have local partners. Winnipeg is home, and Manitoba is home to an amazing group of organizations and people that are really inspired about technology and the environment and making the world a better place. And we would not have been able to get here without individuals and people from all these organizations that have really helped make this competition happen at all different stages and all different times. So thanks to Tech Manitoba, Economic Development Winnipeg, North Forge, Manitoba Tech Accelerator, Taylor McCaffrey Lawyers, Skip the Dishes, Hackworks, and Waterlution. So now we're going to do something a little bit fun. We're going to go outside. I want to introduce Glen Crook to share a few words on behalf of one of our national sponsors, RBC. Glen is a very close friend of ISD and the Experimental Lakes area, and I'm really pleased to introduce him now.
Thank you, Pauline, and hello, everyone. My name is Glen Crook, and I come to you today wearing 2 hats. Firstly, as a member of the Board of Directors of the International Institute for Sustainable Development's Experimental Lake Area. As many of you know, ELA is comprised of 58 lakes and their watersheds, making ELA the world's only whole ecosystem freshwater laboratory. Over the past 50 years, ELA's research has had a massive impact on strategic environmental policies of governments around the globe. So your thoughts, ideas, and participation here at this event could have a huge impact on Lake Winnipeg. My second hat is as Vice President of Commercial Financial Services with RBC. We at RBC are very excited to hear about your engaging, innovative ideas focused on finding solutions that will support the health of Lake Winnipeg. There's never been more opportunity for leadership, collaboration, and vision. Indeed, over the recent months, teams have been collaborating worldwide like never before in the fight against COVID-19. This same spirit of innovative thinking is alive right here as we look for ways to help the health of Lake Winnipeg and bringing it back to where it should be. We at RBC are especially passionate about AquaHacking because of our commitment to finding new ideas, technologies, and partnerships to preserve our natural ecosystems. Through RBC Tech for Nature, we're working with our charitable partners to leverage technology-based solutions to address pressing environmental challenges like climate change. And it's why we're proud to be a strong supporter of the Experimental Lake Area and a founding sponsor of the AquaHacking initiative. But we know we can achieve more when we all work together. So a big thank you to you all who are supporting and participating in this initiative. We're honored to walk the path towards sustainability together with all of you. I take my hat off to you. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much, Glenn. It's really great to see you outside. I wish I was there with you. I'm now pleased to introduce Joanne Zook to share some remarks on behalf of one of our local sponsors, the Government of Manitoba.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be with you for today's semi-final announcements. IISD's AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg event is an exciting example of innovation that drives toward results, and it's something that the Government of Manitoba is proud to partner on. This is an event that's grounded in outcomes that really do matter to all of us as Manitobans, but it's about so much more than that. It's about harnessing and showcasing the talent of our students at universities and colleges across the province. It's about leveraging the experience and the knowledge and the advice of our innovation and business communities. And it's about tapping into the rich data resources that we hold in the Government of Manitoba. This has been a great opportunity for us to really see the impact that open data can have when we invite others to use that data to solve complex challenges. And wow, are these complex challenges? These are not things that we can solve by adding a financial incentive or shifting a policy or changing how we communicate. These challenges really do require innovation. They require meaningfully unique solutions in looking at the problem in ways that really we haven't contemplated in the past. So to all of the participants, I want to thank you for the enthusiasm and energy, your creativity and your curiosity that you've brought so far. There will be a few of you announced as semifinalists today. I want to congratulate you. And I want to encourage you to really push through and push hard for this next phase of the competition. We need these solutions. For everyone, I hope it's been a great experience for you. I hope you've learned something. I hope that you've learned new ways of working and thinking, and that maybe this has sparked some passion in you that you'll carry forward in your careers. Finally, I want to acknowledge and thank the IISD and its partners for bringing this challenge to Manitoba. It has been a pleasure to partner with you on this so far, and we really do look forward to what comes next. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Joanne. I have to say, the Government of Manitoba has really been critical in making this happen. We've worked with individuals from many departments to help our teams, and thanks to all of them. Before we get to the pitches, I'd like to hand it over to Dominique Monchamp, Chief Operating Officer for AquaForum and Senior Advisor of the De Gaspé-Beaubien Foundation. She's been with this AquaHacking challenge and journey since the very beginning, and I'm pleased to introduce her to share a few remarks on behalf of the sponsors and founders.
Thank you, Pauline. It is with immense joy and great pride that I speak to you on behalf of AquaForum and the De Gaspé-Beaubien Foundation. AquaForum was founded by the De Gaspé-Beaubien family in 2017. AquaForum, oversees AquaHacking, which is his flagship program. When I started on this adventure 6 years ago with the young generation of the Beaubien family, we never thought that AquaHacking would end up across Canada. It all started with these young people believing that something had to be done to help preserve water in Canada. They believed at that time that as Canadian, we had an immense responsibility living in a water nation. I'll never forget, they had 3 conditions to start AquaHacking. The first condition was to include new technologies. Second condition was engaging young generation. And finally, do something concrete that could quickly contribute to answering concrete water-related issues. It seems that these young people had the right vision at that time, because 6 years later, AquaForum is a national organization. We currently have challenges in British Columbia, in Atlantic, and also, of course, here in Manitoba, Winnipeg. We will be in 3 different provinces next year as well in 2021, and same thing in 2022. We would love to invite interested organizations to hold an AquaHacking in the region to contact us. The success of a regional AquaHacking always begins with a strong local partnership. Here in Manitoba, we teamed up with IISD. And I would like to thank the entire team of IISD. We knew they had a strong reputation and a super track record, but we discovered along the way that they have also an exceptional team with whom we were able to build AquaHacking here in Winnipeg. AquaForum and AquaHacking is a family story, and the family is growing year after year, and we have the ambition that AquaHacking becomes a movement carried by young innovators and young entrepreneurs. It is with them that we will change the world. In closing, I would like to say a huge thank you to all of these young innovators and these young innovators who are carrying the future in their hands. The legacy they received in terms of water preservation is not very brilliant. That's why we have to support them in their journey and be behind their immense talent. They have a cause for which they work every day. And I would like to thank you so much for that, for your talent, for your commitment. I wish you all the best of luck. And I just can't wait to discover who will be the winner team. So back to you, Pauline.
Thanks very much, Dominique. I now really want to congratulate all the teams who made it to this semifinal. Great work. We know it's a lot of work. We know you worked really hard. It has been a very strange and crazy time all around the world. And it's really a testament to your work ethic and inspiration in trying to make the world a better place that you've kind of competed and made it this far. I'm really proud and so excited to see where the future takes you. So without further ado, let's find out who our finalist teams are for the AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg 2020 Challenge. I'm going to hand it over to Jane McDonald, ISD's Executive Vice President, to do the honors of announcing the top 5 teams.
Thanks, Pauline, and I'm as excited as you are to find out which teams are advancing to the next phase of the challenge. I'll announce them in random order. The first team moving on to the finals comes from right here in Winnipeg, and they developed a solution for the Watershed Investment Challenge. Congratulations, Team Tyfa. Let's see their pitch.
Hi, we'd like to introduce you to Tyfa, Eco-Packaging Solutions. Our team consists of myself, Julian Koga, and my partner, Alec Massé. My background is in biological sciences, while Alec's domain is in commerce and entrepreneurship. The problems we are addressing are Lake Winnipeg eutrophication, as well as the problems of single-use plastics and other petroleum-based products. I won't go into too much detail, as I'm sure you're all aware of the Lake Winnipeg eutrophication as a result of nutrient loading. But algal blooms, vegetation overgrowth, fish kills, and neurotoxins are some of these most important issues. The other problem to be addressed are the problems of single-use plastics, a problem that is widely recognized. Plastic bags take just 1 second to produce, they're used for about 20 minutes, and yet they take over 400 years to degrade. Coupled with the fact that the average North American consumer takes home around 1,500 plastic bags per year, these products have serious environmental consequences. Our solution to these problems is to make use of an underutilized natural resource, cattail plants. Among other benefits, harvesting cattails from the watershed prevents their decomposition and subsequent release of nitrogen and phosphorus into that they have accumulated over their growing season. IISD has shown that large-scale harvest was effective in removing 30 to 60 kilograms of phosphorus per hectare per year. Their team was unable to create market demand for cattails, which is where the second part of our solution comes in, fiber extraction. Relatively recent research at the U of M Biosystems Engineering Department has looked into the fiber properties of cattails, and they have found that simple chemical extraction was effective in producing fibers with textile properties similar to cotton, wool, and polyester. This extraction process is simple, inexpensive, and high yielding, nearly 4 times higher than hemp. These novel findings promote cattail plants as ideal candidates for applications in the textile industry, specifically in nonwoven materials. They're highly abundant throughout Lake Winnipeg's watershed. We will only harvest their shoots, not their rhizomes, allowing for annual regrowth and sustainable harvest. The harvesting can be done effectively with basic farming machinery, and their chemical extraction is simple and inexpensive. And since they grow naturally, we don't have the farming costs incurred with fertilizers, pesticides, or water use. These ecological properties, along with their ease of transformation, suggest that economies of scale are feasible in attempting to develop our non-woven products.
Creating consumer demand is not an easy task. Mass market acceptance can only be achieved once we reach a tipping point, which is roughly between 15 and 18% market penetration. Early adopters are not necessarily the same as mainstream market. They do not buy what you do, but rather why you do it. Hence, consumers are inclined to gravitate towards brands that share the same values and beliefs as they do. This is the reason our commercialization strategy consists of 2 phases. The first is aimed towards raising funds through consumer channels and is heavily influenced by the lean startup. The objective is to create brand awareness and consumer engagement. With the help of Midtax, step 1 is to create a minimum value product such as a tote bag made from non-woven cattail material, like the one showed here. By the beginning of August, we plan on having a finished product to start a crowdfunding campaign in September. We expect the campaign to raise sufficient funds in order to file for a patent for our technology and to pilot the first manufacturing stage of the pre-purchased bags. The size of the plastic bag and pouch market will reach a total of $22.2 billion US globally in 2020. And the North American market is the second largest in the world, reaching $5.6 billion. Other relevant industries to which our technology may be extended includes hygiene and healthcare, textiles, construction, and automobile. Our target market in phase 1 are millennials. Market research indicates 75% of millennials are willing to pay more for a sustainable product. They are not only powerful spenders in the market, but also widely recognized as trendsetters and influencers. In addition, we believe that our target market will help alleviate some of its initial startup costs. Granted that reaching millennials can be done by inexpensive online marketing tactics due to their connectedness, and that resource force into reaching this market will translate to other generations. In phase 2, our expansion is directed towards B2B channels in the packaging industry. We will extend our products line to include environmental packaging for many other business needs. We will help damage lakes by licensing our patent technology to various communities across the world. We will create cost-effective packaging solutions with the highest environmental standards. In order to do so, we will need to develop crucial partnerships with the organizations such as these. Moving forward, a strong IP protection strategy and public advocacy will give us a sustained competitive advantage in the marketplace.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow, sounds like a great solution. The next team moving on to the finals is working on the problem of microplastics pollution and has members from Winnipeg, Toronto, and Selkirk, Manitoba. Congratulations to the Winnipeg Wizards.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael from the Winnipeg Wizards, and together with Quinn, we are going to present to you Particuli, which is our answer to the microplastic challenge. So the issue with microplastics is that they are kind of everywhere, but they are really hard to see at the same time. So what people do to find them is they take water samples, they bring them to the lab, and where people are sitting over the microscope with tweezers and painstakingly sort every single particle into these petri dishes, take measurements, and classify them. So this is a very cost and time intensive process. And on top of that, we also have a problem that microplastics, they do not come with a history attached to them. So if we collect somewhere like in Lake Winnipeg, we do not see how long has it been in there or where is it coming from exactly. So to tackle that problem, or both of these problems, we are thinking about spreading out a net of sensors, which are in situ online monitoring the water for microplastics. So the way this is supposed to work is the particuli device here. We are forking off a little bit of water from the water stream we want to investigate. And particuli is basically a camera, a smart camera, which is looking on the water, which is flowing between two glass panes and takes images repeatedly, like a couple of images per second, preferably. And then we use these images in image processing and convolutional neural networks to identify the particles in the water, to classify them, and to count them. And this gives us then an immediate feedback on how different measurements we might take, for example, in a water treatment plant, how these measurements are affecting the amount of microplastics we find in the water. So the turnaround time from water sampling to results is much, much shorter. We get an online monitoring system. Went one step closer to fulfilling this idea by building this little design here. It's a little bit of a proof of concept. So in this black box, this is our embedded system. It has a Raspberry Pi inside, and the camera is taking these pictures from this conveyor belt you can see down there. On the left side are two of these pictures. We get a resolution of 20 microns per pixel. So this is in the area of where microplastics live. And you can see here with a little bit of image processing, we can mask out, in this case, with pen strokes, to really get the grasp of these particles. And now I'm going to hand off for Quinn, who will run us through the business applications here.
Thank you, Michael. So our advantages in the market are that the particuli creates affordable mode of testing that's fast and easy to use with real-time data. What's incredible is it also can be done in place at a location and with a timestamp associated with the sample. This makes the particuli widely available in many different areas. So who can use this? In academia, it can be used for research and accelerating the search for solutions. As well, commercially, it can be used for water treatment, bottling companies, or for quality control. And personal use, it can be used for citizen science and at-home testing. Now let me introduce to you our fantastic team. Our team is very diverse and capable to make our product, the particuli, a reality. We have backgrounds in various sectors, as you can see, from computer systems, engineering, to water resource and business. Also, our connections with industry make us more than capable to suit our customers' needs. Now, looking into the future, we'll be testing the particuli over the coming 3 months, both in the field and by training the AI, and we plan on having a working product for the finals. In closing, the need to map out the flow of microplastics is real, and new technology is ready and affordable now. So the particuli is the solution that professionals need, and citizens alike. With your vote of confidence, we can achieve our vision. Thank you for listening.
Great job on your solution and pitch. Our next team is based in Regina, and they're developing a solution to the drinking water challenge. Congratulations to the Hydro homies. Here's their pitch.
My name is Noor, and Arslan will be mandating the presentation for me. And we're here to present you Water Secure. So the problem statement identifies improving the water testing processes in remote areas that lack road access. To curate our solution, we focused on efficient tracking of water quality on a local level. Then we used that data to measure water security on a regional level. And finally, we brought awareness and transparency on a national level. So for our analysis, we observed the following. Government responsibility is split up on watershed management. The First Nation communities are regulated federally, whereas other areas are monitored provincially. This causes communication gaps and inefficiencies in curating solutions. Economically, the method of shipping samples is of high risk and it's ineffective and fairly expensive. Environmentally, we saw weather constraints that cause samples to be delayed in deployment, and regulators are keen to find an effective solution. There's also a strong public support for water security, and technologically, there is a lack of open data sources for activism, research, and watershed investment purposes. With the following decision criteria in mind, we came up with our solution. We proposed the creation of a number of localized testing hubs, which will be integrated with the infrastructure and water quality monitoring web map. So we began our process by speaking to ALS, an accredited lab that receives these samples from the north. We observed a system revitalization was a key step to finalizing our solution. To start, we would begin by combining efforts with provincial and federal sectors in water quality testing and regulation. Then, we would geolocate and define the list of communities that are directly affected by the problem. This will help us understand the distribution networks and enable aid in our web map solution. So currently, the samples are being flown back and tested for total coliform and E. coli on a bi-weekly basis. So our solution is to deploy HAWK instruments to the trained EHOs or personnel on site, which diminishes the problem of transportation and inefficient testing. So just to quickly summarize, what is an environmental health officer? Well, they are certified public health inspectors that are hired by the Indigenous Services Canada that have the ability and licensing to sample, test, and report water quality. Thus, we propose EHOs be deployed in areas that currently do not have these personnel, and we would provide them with our instruments. And again, our mapping will serve as a communication tool for future investment for water quality and development. Now I'll quickly break down our instrumentation and the cost analysis of it. So this is the HAWK-M ColiBlue 24 method, and it is effective for testing the total count of bacteria. So the total cost of one test would be $10.88, comparing to the lab cost of $23 a sample. I'll just give you a second to look at the materials in this slide. In my next slide, and this is depending on the regulation, an alternate process can be used. It is more cost effective, but this will just tell you if there's presence of those bacterium. This amounts to $7.67 per sample. Annually, the expected cost of offsite analysis for biweekly sampling is approximately $1,700. However, our solution has an initial startup cost of $1,900, but subsequent testing would amount to $11 a sample. So that's $272 annually. This is a cost reduction of 6 times the amount. So this is an early mock-up of our water quality interactive map. In this, you can click on a hub and then read the simplified water security summary. You can also check the population health indicators and even download the raw data for research purposes. This is especially useful for activists and researchers. So in summary, we propose a series of localized testing hubs that affordably track water quality and upload the data to our live water map. This allows us to simplify the data for public awareness and the government to use feedback loops to invest in infrastructure gaps that increase the population health and water security of our remote communities. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Let's tackle water insecurity together.
Fantastic work. Sounds like an innovative approach to a very tough problem. The fourth team moving on to the AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg Finals is working on a solution for water and land management to help our agricultural producers, and they're from Winnipeg. Congratulations, Laser Nutrient Technology.
Hello, my name is Bentley, this is Megan, and we are Laser IR Nutrient Tech. We're hoping to help solve some water and land management issues facing Lake Winnipeg. The lake's watershed spans nearly 1 million square kilometers and is home to a growing $20 billion agricultural industry. Fertilizer is an integral component to this industry, but can easily be lost as runoff if it is applied in excess. Gaining precise knowledge on the needs of a farmer's field can be a costly endeavor for both the farmer and the agronomist using current nutrient sampling techniques. However, a lack of precise knowledge is also costly to the farmer, as their dollars will run off along with their excess fertilizer into the lake. Current nutrient sampling practices require field samples to be sent to labs for analysis. For the farmer and the agronomist, this means expensive lab fees, long wait times, and a hefty price to be paid if they want to account for field variability.
Phosphorus is an essential nutrient for plant growth and development. However, phosphorus runoff negatively impacts both the wallet of the farmer and the health of aquatic ecosystems. While only 1.5% of the phosphorus used annually by the agriculture sector is lost as runoff, we must not confuse a small value with an insignificant one. Any excess phosphorus runoff can negatively impact the health of the lake in the form of cyanobacterial blooms, and, by extension, harm economic sectors such as fishing and tourism, which bring in a combined $125 million to the province annually. In order to save our lake, agricultural phosphorus runoff needs to be reduced as much and as soon as possible. We are on a mission to reduce cyanobacterial blooms, aid farmers' finances, and make quality phosphate sampling affordable for agronomists by providing them with nutrient surveying technology that can allow for on-site testing with quick, precise results.
Our solution is a device that tests soil phosphate concentrations. One main benefit of our device is its ability to take multiple samples at a low cost, which is due to the fact that all analysis is done on-site. Additionally, samples are automatically geotagged, and together, these improvements make it much easier for agronomists to provide farmers with precise recommendations on how much fertilizer to give their crops based on the phosphate concentration in each sampled area.
Our analyzer uses ATR infrared spectroscopy techniques to determine plant-available phosphate concentrations remaining in the soil. The analysis process involves collecting a soil sample, placing it in the ATR accessory, and pressing a button to shine a laser through it. Following this, and further separating us from other on-site sampling methods that have been attempted, the sample can be placed back in the ground as it has not been contaminated by added reagents. This replacement process reduces the cost per sample because there is no expenditure on single-use supplies.
There are multiple published scientific papers in accredited journals which support the implementation of infrared spectroscopy in soil analysis for various parameters. Additionally, as of June 8th, there are no products registered on the Canadian Patent Database that resemble our idea of a portable infrared soil nutrient analyzer. After researching the many methods available of implementing IR spectroscopy in our device and consulting with experts in the electronic supply industry, we decided to design our device using ATR spectroscopy methods and with parts from SpecAc and Boston Electronics.
After consulting with experienced mentors in the agriculture industry, we have decided to market our product as an agronomic decision-making tool to pre-existing agricultural consulting companies. Due to its precision and ease of use, our device can become the new standard for all phosphate testing, regardless of the terrain or climate. In the future, there are potential testing capabilities for other nutrients, like nitrogen and potassium. This expansion would allow for a near-complete switch to on-site nutrient testing, lowering the cost of precision services for all parties involved, while benefiting watersheds.
Unlike other products on the market, our device allows for on-site testing and real-time results without the use of added reagents. Another benefit of our device is its ability to take multiple samples at a low cost, which allows agronomists to provide farmers with a precise yet inexpensive service. Data is available within minutes, reducing the time required before an agronomist can begin analyzing the results and providing farmers with their invaluable suggestions, ultimately meeting the demands of a time-sensitive industry.
Now, I'm sure you've noticed that we are fairly young and certainly do not have PhDs following our names. However, Bentley and I have used this opportunity to not only develop a solution in hopes of helping Lake Winnipeg, but to gain knowledge from incredible mentors. We are proud to present our solution to you today, confident in our newfound skills and heightened appreciation for business, technology, and the environment.
Moving forward, our next steps include purchasing the required materials to build a prototype, applying for patents, and marketing our design for further development and use. Our main goal, ultimately, is to partner with agricultural consulting companies and expand into potassium and nitrate testing in order to help our device reach as many farmers as they possibly can. We hope you consider our solution's potential in helping benefit Lake Winnipeg and Manitoba farms for generations to come.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great to see Winnipeggers engaged in an issue so close to our hearts. And now for the last team moving on to the finals. This team has members from across 3 different provinces, Newfoundland, Manitoba, and Ontario. And they're developing a solution to prevent microplastics from ending up in Lake Winnipeg. Congratulations, AquaTech. Let's see what they came up with.
My name is Anna Lene, and I'm from Team AquaTech, and we're proud to present our solution for reducing uncertainty in microplastics research, Compound Connect. So this is Mary. Mary is a microplastics researcher working at a university, and the goals of her research are to identify the sources of microplastic pollution so that she can help the government create effective policies to reduce their environmental impact. In order to do this, she needs to determine what types of plastic are in the water and sediment samples that she collects from Lake Winnipeg. After she prepares her samples, she looks at each piece of microplastic under a microscope and writes down its shape, color, and size. But she still doesn't know what type of plastic these particles are. In her lab, she has a machine called a spectrometer. This machine can measure the chemical makeup of Mary's microplastics. The process is very long. She has to manually compare the spectroscopy data of a single microplastic to a library of thousands of possible types of plastic. And since in a single sample, she can have thousands of microplastic particles, identifying the type of plastic for each particle can take hours. Mary needs to know what these plastics are, but she needs a faster way. Mary needs something to free up her energy and resources so that she can collect more samples and help inform better policies to reduce microplastic pollution in Lake Winnipeg. Plastics' toxic chemicals build up over time and stay in the environment. These bioaccumulate in animals, and also the average person ends up eating at least a credit card worth of microplastics each week. Mary needs help saving time, money, and the environment. The existing tool on the market is expensive, and it leaves Mary frustrated as the software is not able to match up almost half of the microplastics in her samples, which have degraded or weathered in the environment and paled in the sun. Also, she still has to manually track the color, shape, and size of each microplastic particle. This is where Compound Connect enters. Not only does our state-of-the-art algorithm focus on the needs of microplastics researchers, it's also an all-in-one application for microplastics analysis and databasing. So how it works is researchers simply enter their spectral data and photos of their microplastic samples. Compound Connect then uses a machine learning algorithm to identify the type of plastic from libraries of spectral data. It also uses computer vision to create a spreadsheet with all the information that they're currently entering manually from the photo. Compound Connect also includes point source data from current available literature, which lets the researcher know if the particle is likely to come from wastewater, marine debris, or another known source of microplastics pollution. So we already have a functional prototype that's in the early stages of development, and we'd be happy to talk more about that in the Q&A. Our target market is the ever-growing research community that's interested in microplastics analysis. You can see the growth in the number of papers just from 2015 about microplastics in the environment globally and in Canada. So we've estimated that the total available market for research regarding microplastics in the environment is $785 billion, and filtered that to our serviceable available market for spectroscopy-dependent research in freshwater environments to get $417 billion, and our target market is $22 million in North America. And since microplastics research is a young science and studies of human impacts in the environment will only continue to increase, we believe there's a lot of growth potential for this product. We don't have any direct competitors. We do have one indirect competitor that I mentioned earlier, which is Biorad, which is a $13 billion company. Compared to this indirect competitor, Compound Connect is less expensive. It's targeted to microplastics that have been weathered or degraded in the environment, and it offers more than just the spectral data analysis to create a time-saving suite of services. And we have a brief business model for how we'd reach out to our target market, which we could also get into deeper discussion in the Q&A. So we really developed the solution in collaboration with our target market, and some of the top microplastics researchers in Canada agree that Compound Connect could add value to their research. Here are some testimonies that we have from them. So our plan is to continue to refine our algorithm for the AquaHacking Lake Winnipeg finals in October, and expect to be beta testing shortly thereafter to have a market available product in 2021. We're Team Avatech. We're a diverse group of experts with backgrounds in hydrology, environmental engineering, business development, software engineering, and environmental policy. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to responding to any questions you might have about Compound Connect.
Well done, Team Avatech. Congratulations to our 5 finalist teams. I'm so impressed by your hard work. I can't wait to see your progress in phase 2 of this challenge. I also want to thank you for your commitment to solving environmental issues related to freshwater. It's inspiring to see so many students and young professionals dedicating themselves to helping Lake Winnipeg. I'll hand it back over to Pauline now for some closing remarks.
Wow, that was so exciting. Congratulations to all the finalists. I just cannot wait to meet you virtually and work together to turn those amazing ideas into solutions and see where we can go by October. We'll be in touch with all the finalist teams in the next few days about next steps. I also want to take a moment to thank all the teams who participated in the semifinal. We're so excited to see all of your hard work and passion for helping Lake Winnipeg and freshwater in Canada. Also, let's face it, it's been a really hard and challenging couple of months all around the world. And for you to focus on this challenge and work so hard is amazing. So thank you and congratulations. Thanks again to our sponsors, judges, and partners for making today's event a success. We couldn't have done it without you, and we look forward to having you involved in phase 2 of the challenge. Follow us in the competition on social media to learn more about the finalist teams and their journey to the final. Lastly, we want to invite you to some upcoming virtual events for all 3 of the AquaHacking challenges happening this year. Over the next 2 weeks, we have 2 events, so please tune in. The Atlantic Challenge semifinal is on June 18th at 4 p.m. Atlantic time on the Atlantic Water Network Facebook page. The BC Challenge final is on June 25th at 1 p.m. Pacific time on the Okanagan Waterwise Facebook page. We will be tweeting about all these events, and please tune in. They're going to be just as exciting as today's. Then in the fall, we'll have the Atlantic Challenge final on September 18th and our final for Lake Winnipeg on October 14th. Be sure to join us online for these events. Thanks. Good luck to the teams moving forward, and have a fantastic day.